Did you know that the fastest sim race in the world used third-person camera, and it actually is, as I'm going to explain in this video, the fastest way to drive in sim racing? I know a lot of you are not going to like what I'm going to tell you here, but I'm just going to let you know these are the facts, and you can let me know what you think in the comments. Now, a lot of you have been asking me, why are you driving in third person? What's going on? You're using the wheel, but you're driving third person camera, and there's a few reasons I need to go into. But firstly, this is Valerio Gallo. Valerio Gallo is a Olympic sim racing champion. So when he's the Olympic champion, arguably the fastest sim racer in the world, and he uses third person camera. And I'm going to show you in this video why he does that. There's a few different reasons, and I'm going to let you know whether you should be using third person camera as well. Now, the first thing is, when it comes to third person camera, is visibility. Now, you can see here when you're driving on your own, doesn't really make too much difference. I'm going to show you some footage of a really intense race in ACC where, frankly, being in third person is just overpowered. So you can see here, imagine doing this in cockpit view, the lessened visibility you have, you just would not be able to really filter through the traffic in such a confident way as you can do in third person. It is unfair. It's unfairly overpowered. That's the reality of it. So whether you want to use it or not because you think it's unfair or not, it's up to you. But I'm just saying, in these circumstances, this is why the fastest drivers in the world use third person camera. You might think it's sort of ethically questionable or not accurate, but it is unfair. Now, if I go here to cockpit camera, you can see just the complete lack of visibility and awareness you get. You're just not going to be able to drive as expansively, as confidently. And this is not like real world, by the way. In real world, you get more visibility when you're driving in a cockpit. You have your peripheral vision, your natural field of view is much wider. That is not replicated in 2D cockpit cameras. So a lot of people are saying, oh, you should be racing in cockpit camera. It's not realistic. I have to let you know, it's genuinely not realistic. So it's not like that's the authentic choice. Now, you can race in VR. VR is a little bit better, but still the field of view is very, very, very narrow. I would say this is just like a cockpit view plus. It's not replicating in any meaningful way the amount of visibility you get in the real world. I mean, have a look here, my lack of peripheral vision, where drivers are around me. We don't have a radar up at the moment, and it's very difficult to tell if there's going to be someone coming up my inside or outside. I can't even see the mirrors most of the time unless I really peer over and look at them. And that's just not the case, like I said, in the real world with my real world driving, as we lost a casualty there. Now, should you use third-person camera? Well, it's up to you. So this is the thing. The other really important point about third-person camera is that it allows you to be way, way, way more precise when it comes to track limits. And this is the main reason why the fastest drivers in the world use third-person camera, because at that level, sim racing is essentially a game where you are going up against hard-coded track limits. Track limits aren't as important in real life generally, although recently we've seen in Formula 1 that they've started to ping them quite precisely, which to me actually mirrors sim racing. If you have a look here, I'm going to show you some footage. Have a look at Valerio Gallo and how precise he is able to be over the track limits. Have a look at his car compared to the white lines. That is a lot easier to do in third person, where he can intuitively see exactly where his car is, and he can maximize those track limits and therefore maximize his entry speed, his exit speed, all of the stuff that's really important in sim racing. In real world racing, that wouldn't be as important. There would be other variables involved, but not in sim racing at the top level. So you can see there how that's really interesting footage. So should you use third person camera when you're racing? Now, the answer is, and make sure you're subscribed, by the way, if you want more videos about this. But the answer is, it's up to what you want to do in sim racing. And by that, I mean, yes, I've given some examples of why third person can give you an unfair advantage in certain circumstances when you're fighting over a thousandth of a second. But for example, this race in Forza, it's not like that. So therefore, for you, it comes down to, what do you want to get out of sim racing? Are you there to have fun? Do you want to get faster? Do you want to get into esports? If you want to have fun, you might want to use third person camera, because it allows you to look at your car and appreciate your car, and it's just a bit more relaxed like that. If you want to be really dialed in, personally, I use bonnet camera. It's not a very realistic camera because your car's on top of the camera's on top of the bonnet or the car. But for me, I've had my best performances on bonnet camera. Or you might want to use cockpit because you want to have that rush of feeling like you're driving a car in cockpit camera like it's real life. So, and by the way, there are obviously loads and loads and loads of the fastest esports drivers who do not use third-person camera. In fact, a lot of the sims actually prevent you, for reasons I believe, because it would be unfair, by the way. But lots to think about here, and let me know what you think in the comments. Are you going to change the camera that you drive in? Has it opened your eyes a little bit? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you. See you next time.